That we have to understand. And when the Jews got the UN partition plan, even before they declared independence, they said, now you've got the mandate from the UN, let's start our movement. And they started to create what is called a Nakba. They started to then do ethnic cleansing and eradicating all Palestinians from the land that are supposed to be theirs. Meaning from the 56% of the land, kononnya. And I think their plan here was a brilliant plan. They started with a plan called Plan Dalet. And the Plan Dalet was started at Deir Yassin, a village called Deir Yassin. What did they do? They came to the village, destroyed everything and killed everybody in the village. Why? Because it is in the land that was given to them by the UN. And they did this with the express purpose and telling the rest of the Palestinians in the whole land where they were living or where they were given, they were told, this is what we are going to do to your village. You are next. It's a brilliant plan. Because psychologically, it was so atrocious that all the people living in other villages started to vacate their land and started to move away. So much so that in this example, people in Jaffa, Haifa and Acre, they were literally driven, like in this picture. They were literally driven to the sea. This land now is given to the UN, to us. You have no right to be here. And they cleanse the villages. If you look at this, and that was when it's the start of what is called the catastrophe. So, on the 14th of May, 1948, Israel declared independence. And the 15th of May, 1948, the Palestinians rise up in arms, with what little arms they had, to fight. And they were massacred by the Jews, who had better weapons, who had more weapons. And that day onward is now remembered as the Nakba Palestine, or the catastrophe of Palestine, and it has not ended until now. This is what happened. You look at the first, on the left, you see the purple, the dark purple, that was land inhabited by the Jews. But the shade of purple, the lesser shade of purple, was the land given to them by the UN. And those were the number of Palestinian villages that was totally cleaned up one after the other from 1948 to 1967, one after the other. It's not a village of 10 people, no. It's a village of thousands of people, one after the other. Let's look at some pictures of the Nakba.
ثم ينقضون عهدهم في كل مرة وهم لا يتقون.
Theodore Herzl. This is a start, that Balfour Declaration. First Minister, Prime Minister Ben Gurion. And 31 cities and villages destroyed. $400,000 expelled from their houses and villages just in the spring of 1948. You imagine that 400,000 displaced of 2-3 months. And the Nakba is still on and continues.
هزتني نسمات الليالي فتراءى ببالي طيف آلام مريء أبكتني صرخات الأيام وأنين تنام حول قيد وأسير تكويني شهقات الثكالى طعنات توالى دمعة الطفل الغني مديني يا شراع الزمان لربوع الأماني لمدى الزاهي المنير.
هزتني نسمات الليالي فتراها ببالي طيف آلام مريء أبكتني صرخات الأيام وأنين تنام حول قيد وأسير.
يا أنسي يا نفائح نفسي فيك ليلي وهمسي ودعاء المستجيب. من يدري يا صبابة صدري الرميلات فجري يعبر الليل المغيب.
هزتني نسمات الليالي فتراها ببالي طيف آلام مريء أبكتني صرخات الأيام وأنين تنام حول قيد وأسير.
من قلبي يا حبيبة قلبي ذبت أدعو لربي سوى يجيب من روحي يا رفيقة روحي جد كي لا تنوحي أنت من روحي الكثير.
يسأل سائل: لماذا الحديث عن التاريخ أصلا؟ كثير من الناس تلوم على المسلمين كثرة الخوض في الحديث عن
The first Prime Minister, this is what is said by Yitzhak Rabin, remember? He's one also of the Prime Ministers of Israel. We walked outside, Ben Gurion accompanying us. Alan repeated his question, what is to be done with the population? And Ben Gurion, the first Prime Minister, said this, waved his hand in gesture which said, drive them out. The population of Lord Lida did not live willingly. There were no ways of avoiding the use of force and warning shots in order to make the inhabitants march the 10 or 15 miles to the point where they would meet up with the legion. This is a quote from Yitzhak Rabin. And that was what they did. And the statistics of Nakba, 750,000 Palestinians expelled, driven out from their land. 550, more than 500 villages and cities completely destroyed. All major cities ethnically cleansed. All major cities, like Tel Aviv, ethnically cleansed. Haifa, ethnically cleansed. Jaffa, ethnically cleansed. No Arabs, no Palestinians, only Jews. And 78% of Palestine incorporated into what is now known as Israel. And today there are still 7.2 million Palestinian refugees. 4.7 million still living as registered refugees in camps. The camps are in Syria, the camps are in Lebanon, the camps are in Jordan. And they are treated, in those countries, they are people without a country. So you see what the Jews have done. From owning 6% of the land, lobbying the UN until they were given 56% of the land. But that is not what they wanted. From 56% of the land into 78% of the land, now they own more than 80% of the land. The Jews has never respected even the borders given to them by the UN. Even though the UN has only given them 56% of the land. Finally, what will happen is, you will not see anything happening in the West Bank. Finally, the land of the Palestinians will be just one big prison called Gaza. Because do you see how the West Bank has been corrupt? And that is happening daily now. Slowly but surely, they are destroying mosques and small villages and building walls in Palestine. And the thing they covered most is what we call Masjid al-Aqsa. When you say the Aqsa Mosque, okay, it is not just the mosque. The whole area of this 1 kilometer square area is called Masjid al-Aqsa. Okay, it's not just that small mosque. Because at the time of Isra Mi'raj, Rasulullah was the Imam of 120,000 plus prophets, Nabi and Rasul. You cannot fit 120,000 into that small mosque. But that whole land, now according to the Jews, what they want is to rebuild Solomon's temple.